Okay, people, I'm just going to keep this brief because I got a whole lot of video that's going to be after this little introduction. So basically, I went next door today simply because my grandson wanted to go see his little friend. And the person that lives next door, he was out and about. So I approached him and I asked him again if he'll remove those raspberry bushes at some point. And of course, again, we're dealing with people that don't speak very good English, right? So anyway, he said, show me. So I took him to his raspberry bush and I showed him. And because they're starting to bloom little, flowers to have a few berries, I told him to eat the berries, tried to use sign language, eat the berries when they come, the little berries when they come, eat them. And then after, in the fall, dig them up and go put them by the fence, and I showed him. And then I also made reference to that one that's spreading out, and I offered to help him. I told him I would help. I'm sure he understood that word. And I said, I'll help you dig him out. One day I'll come when it's not hot outside, and I'll dig him out for you because he's elderly, right? He's not like, he's probably in his 60s or 70s, right? I mean, I don't know exactly how old he is, but he's more than 60 years old anyway. Probably closer to 70. Between 60 and 70. At least. So I offered to come for one day. And he just I told him, you tell me where you want and I'll dig them out for you. Otherwise they're going to keep spreading. And he goes, And I said, no, seriously, I will help you. So, for all that frustration yesterday, right, we'll see where it gets me. They're not going to do much with it, trust me. So my pitchfork broke, so I'll have to go buy a new one, right? So when I buy a new one, and I see them out there, I'll show them my pitchfork, and I'll say, okay, where do you want me to dig? And I'll dig them out for them. Just to help a little bit, right? Outside of that, people, I'm pretty sore today, so I haven't really done anything. I'm just kind of picking through the crap in the house here, right? Because when I work outside, inside falls apart. When I work inside, outside falls apart, right? Because it's such a big yard and the weeds grow and things move around and just whatever, right? So anyway, I haven't even looked at the plants today. I can imagine they probably have grown for like another inch or so. So I have to go out and plant for sure tomorrow, right? I'm not planting today because, when you do that kind of stuff that I did yesterday, I'm, like I said, I'm not no spring chicken myself, right? So I really, I don't have the bone mass like I used to, because when Andre was taken, I went from 105 pounds or so, 105, 106, that type of thing, right? Down to 90 pounds, 91, 92 pounds within 6 months. I went down to 90 at one point. From 105 down to 90 in 6 months when my grandson was wrongfully apprehended. And then when we got him back, it started to go up a little bit, and I got up to 98 pounds. That's as far as I could go, right? And we hadn't even had him back for a year before Uncle John disappeared. So when that happens, people, when people just up and disappear from your life like that, your body begins to shut down, right? Your mind not so much, but your body does, right? Because you don't want to eat, right? And you're expending a lot of energy just thinking and trying to cope, right, with the situation. And depending on the situation, as in like with Uncle John's case, where there's no access to fair legal representation, and because of that, it's destroyed 7 lives, and that 8 lives, and that includes Uncle John's life. You can't expect the body to function normally. And again, this is why these types of people, the them group, do this kind of stuff, right? Because they know psychologically it eats away at you and it will affect your daily living in terms of, you know, the amount of food that you eat, the amount of rest that you get, you know, the choices that you make, and that type of thing. So anyway, I offered people next door in the next couple, 2-3 weeks, because I got to go get myself a pitchfork the next time I go out. I prefer pitchforks over shovels, right? And especially for this yard. And when I get that, you know, I'll be neighborly and I will offer to dig out a patch for them before it gets too out of control, or even along the fence line if they allow me to do it, right? If they want it over there, at least get it away from the fence line. And I'm a little younger, so I can do that for them. So I don't know what's on these videos because I've just been kind of going around doing whatever. So I'm just going to upload that. And for now, people, this is the way it is, right? I will continue doing these videos until there is no longer a non-profit. When the non-profit goes dissolution, if it should go dissolution, because, you know, I'm having a hard time reaching people for whatever reason, I'm sure the medical kidnapping of Uncle John is playing a big role in it, in terms of defamation of character and that type of thing. Because this gang stalking on YouTube and whatnot never happened until they took John in 2015 of February. So, in the meantime, right, I'm just keeping the non-profit out there and doing video, I guess, blogs. I guess that's what it is. Just so that, you know, throughout my videos, if you watch them long enough, you know, you get little ideas here and there, and, like, you know, that type of thing. So, yeah, alright. Okay, so what's today? 27th May 2017. I just want to talk about how ignorant these people are next door, like, in terms of being rude. Like, seriously. If you look, it's spreading. Like I said, they just come along and pick it off from the top. They don't even try and dig out their roots. As you can see, it's starting to take over their own garden bed. Like, all over. It's going down that way. Right? Can't really see in this screen, people. It is what it is there. You can see it there. Right? It's traveling all the way down. It's traveling in here. They've got a total infestation over here. I've already had to dig it out in here. Like I said, I killed my plant. That's what it does. It overtakes everything. Once I dig these things out, I'm just going to bag up these roots, take them next door with another note, asking them to remove their root system away from the fence line and to remove that raspberry bush. Right? Because if they don't, I'm going to call the police on them. And I'm going to let them know that. And maybe that will scare them enough to do something about it. You can see it's traveling down this way. You can see it's taking over in here. You can see it's going right down into there. Right? So it's extremely hard to prevent it from coming into my yard. You can see, where is it? There's the newspaper. There's the plant right there. Right? I've already had to dig it up from my side. There's some more primo dirt that I'm getting into. I'm going to redo this compost, dig it all up, switch it all around, bury those little branches, and start all over again. But this is bullshit. This is total fucking bullshit. This is rude. Totally rude on their part. I've done nothing to them for them to be so negligent. Same thing with this here. Here's their raspberry bush. Right? If they don't do something about this raspberry bush, it won't be long before it starts killing off my plants. It's going to destroy my leek patch. It will kill my herbs. It will kill my job tree. Right? It's going to get up into here. Bullshit. Chinese people. We don't speak English. right? They know. They're just lazy. That's what it is. They're lazy. And they're beautiful as ever. Look how beautiful those things are. And then one of the members to this channel gave me some insight in terms of, this is a comfrey plant, right? You can see the flowers, and it has properties that are really, really good for the compost heap. So you want to make sure you compost these leaves for sure, right? Because they're good for tomato plants and fruit-bearing trees. I would suspect raspberry bushes, blueberry bushes, right? And you can use some of the leaves as a, like, to put on your skin with a wrap. Not the leaf itself. You put it in between the wrap and then the wrap. You don't put the leaf directly onto the skin or onto an open wound. But it has healing properties anyway. So I'm going to dehydrate a few leaves, get myself a jar full, right? And then maybe every now and then I'll make myself a muscle wrap or something to get into my achy bones. Right, we'll see. And there's another compost. This one's got some primo mulch in it. And then this one I have to get into. That one in there can sit for the year. And then I've got a big one in the back of the house with blackberry, a lot of blackberry stems. And then I have another one behind the pine tree up by the greenhouse. So I have like a lot of these compost boxes. I think I counted out 9 or 11 of them on the property. Right? So what you do is you take one of them and you mulch these leaves in one particular one, so you know, right? And being that this is a important plant, I'm going to either go back to the field and grab another little batch, right? Or come fall, I'll break this one up into 2 and start another one. And then, what's going on with my YouTube channel, ever since Uncle John disappeared, is the equivalent of what's going on next door with those out-of-control plants. That is an infestation, right? Because as you can see, these people that do this stuff, that's connected to this website that's called Get Off My Internet, which is the equivalent, which is the equivalent of a hate website, right? Because it's designed to criticize and, you know, critique and mock and defame, and that's the whole purpose of the website, is to complain, right? And to be negative and to be hurtful and to maim. Okay, so this is what the disappearance of Uncle John attracted in terms of thumbs down, right? As a psychological form of warfare, right? Against myself and my family and a nonprofit that I work on, to control the information that's, you know, getting out there in terms of misinformation or correct information, right? Now, mind you, I have these things where you don't see them. I've removed that, right? But every now and then I do come in and I record this, I videotape it for document purposes, right? Because sooner or later, at some point, somebody will be held accountable for that. And if a website is designed to perpetrate that kind of activity, right, and doesn't want to take any responsibility for the gang stalking behavior that it perpetrates for views and ad revenue, on top of spreading misinformation. I had to adjust my camera screen. Anyway, these people are no different. Again, people, May 26, 2017. I just uploaded this video a little while ago. Yeah. Sparkling pond. Okay, so we'll try it this way. So as you can see, I'm disturbed about these roots coming into my yard, right? With these Chinese people that don't speak English, even though they've been living in Canada forever. So don't ask me how that one works, people. How can you live in a country for most of your life? Because they're old over there, right? They've been there, they've been in that house for a long time. And, you know, live in Canada for most of your life, or a half of your life, or whatever it is, and not even try and learn to speak English so that you can communicate with your neighbors and with the people that you associate with in the community on a day-to-day basis when you go out in public. Think about it, right? And these are the people that are coming in from China, buying up all these properties at overinflated prices as they're laundering money, right, through these property sales, with people coming in that are homemakers and students buying $1 million houses and 1.5 or 2 million or $3 million houses up in the Vancouver area, especially, right? And they're just spreading out with no sense of social responsibility to the people of this country as they're buying up the properties and forcing people out. And these are the ones that are working in our healthcare system as nurses and nurses' aides and all these other types of professions, right? Because they're moving into the community and they're pushing everybody out as they're providing them services through the healthcare system, right? That perpetrate the medical kidnapping of the old people so that they can go in there and buy up their houses after they seize their assets through the healthcare system. Okay? And because they normally don't speak English, or they speak broken English, or they cannot read, write English, they feel that they don't have any responsibility to the people that they serve as they're being employed by the provincial government. As they are spreading out, taking over, as the people that they're taking over their properties are working twice as hard just trying to maintain those properties or to keep those properties. Right? But as this weed infestation or this migration takes over and takes root and goes deep into the ground, because that's the kind of plant that one is. You have to dig down 2-3 feet sometimes to get to those roots. Over 2 feet, people. I've already done it. And that's why they don't want to get out there and root out their yard before this thing becomes its yard. That plant, if they don't start taking a handle on that plant in the next 2 years, 2 to 3 years, they're not going to have gardens in their yard. They're going to have that plant throughout the whole freaking yard, and it's going to start going out into the city property, out into the city, right? The city driveways, right? Curbs, right? And what do you call it? Then the city will get involved. That's when the city will get involved. In the meantime, if you call up the city and say, oh, my neighbor's got this invasive plant, you know, it's overtaking, it's coming into my yard, I can't get rid of it, blah, blah, blah. She's going to say, just like with the water drainage problem, oh, there's nothing we can do because it's private property, blah, blah, blah. You know, take it up with civil matters. You know, take the guy to court for water damage. It's in your yard because of their drainage problems. Or take up, you know, go to court for plant roots. Until it gets up on the curb. And when it's out in the curb, and it starts, and this thing seeds too. So not only does it spread by root, but it spreads by seed, people. Because it flowers, and then it flies. Right? So this is not something that you want throughout the neighborhood. I can tell you that right now. And because, you know, they have no sense of social responsibility. Absolutely none. As a culture. you know? And if it's like that as a culture, it's like that as individuals. And unfortunately, that's the kind of society we live in. The white people are mainly over there. The Chinese are mainly over there. The Punjabis and the Hindus and all them from India are over there, right? The natives are over there. The blacks are over there. Everybody's in their own little pocket, right? Well, some of us prosper more, while others don't. And the ones that are prospering at this point are the ones that are mainly coming in from outside countries in two ways. Right? One's with the money, buying up the property, pushing out the native-born Canadians, regardless of their heritage, out into the streets and higher rental markets or higher housing market in general. Because that's how the BC Liberal government boosted the economy, was through property sales. They've been flipping them like flapjacks. Right? Take away that privilege, and let's see how the economy of British Columbia runs after that. Oh, I know, it will be old people. They'll be making their money off of old people, because the corruption within the healthcare system to root out the old people with the money, right, won't end anytime soon, because people like me that speak out against it and try and take it to court obviously aren't very successful at getting there by design. As we're expected to go to the hospital when we get sick from digging out all those roots that are spreading out in the community and causing all this havoc, to deal with the same kind of people that are growing the freaking roots in the first place. Don't you see the correlation? For all I know, those people next door could be working at the Surrey Memorial Hospital. Not only are they my neighbors, but they're going to be the ones that are going to be giving me health care when I show up at their doorstep, sicker than a dog, because I'm out there digging out their fucking roots. Just so that my yard doesn't get inundated with this nightmare spreading.
This is okay.
Okay, people, May 27th, 2017, I'm getting into my potato seeds here. I'm a little confused. This is from last year. These are the little green potato seeds that grow above the plant. You're not supposed to eat them because they're poisonous. But apparently they have over 100 seeds, which is true. Because I just cracked open one like that. I'm having a problem with my screen. Okay, now it's dried over the winter on top of my fridge in a bag. Right, you want to make sure it breathes, otherwise it molds. Anyway, I counted out 150 seeds. Do you see that? They're done in tens. From that. Oh, screen. Which is the equivalent of that. Which is very small. And then, I'm a little confused here. I don't think I threw anything else in the bag. These kind of look like pear seeds, but they're not. I can't imagine how I can have that amount of pear seeds in there. But anyway, I think those are potato seeds. I think they were one of the larger pods, I guess you could say. Right? That had larger seeds in them. That matured. Although I don't know how that would work, because if you can get 150 in there, that's not 150, but anyway, I opened up another one over here. You can see the seeds are coming out right there. There they are. Right? Those you can tell by the shape of them, which is almost to the equivalent as those ones, only those ones are like big in comparison to those ones. So we're going to do a little science experiment here. I'm going to get some more seeds. Right? And then we're going to plant them in the little greenhouse, right? The X Club. And we're going to see what happens. We're going to see what we get. Now, the thing about a potato seed, in terms of a pod, is when they produce these little seeds, like a pea pod, only in multiples of tens where it can mount out to 150 of them, the potato that you initially got the pod from will not necessarily grow from these seeds. you'll get a different strain of potato. That's what I read a couple years ago. So it should be interesting to see what we get. Hold on. Okay, so basically we've got 630 little potato seeds. You can see them. That's 630 right there, people. And then we've got 45 of the larger ones. And then that's just the casing, the pod, which there's probably still some in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the casing and I'll put it in a planter pot and see what happens. Just about a 1/4 inch down with a little bit of surf, little bit of dirt on top. Those are going to go no more than a 1/4 inch, right? With a little bit of dirt on top, just a 1/4 inch deep. I'm not going to plant them all. I'm just going to plant some of them because I want to see what happens. I'm going to be doing science with Andre and math with him, with this. So maybe we'll put some in a little petri dish and see if we can sprout them in a petri dish on a piece of tissue or something. Alright? Just to see. Let's see if we get potatoes from this, people. Wouldn't that be interesting? Okay, people. It's May 28, 2017. You can see that acorn there. It's moving itself around in there. It's going to be popping up pretty soon. You're going to get another oak tree. Right? This is apple. Try not to repeat myself with the screen. You can see the ring. Where's my finger? You can see the ring of the apple. Right? This was from last year. It was in a bag in the yard. Right? I've got the one little apple tree that's growing in the house. It's actually quite beautiful. This one I put in here is spring. Doesn't look like anything's popping out from it though, right? But then I've been watering it with chlorinated water, so keep that in mind. This is a Facebook moment where you see on the feeds there, you take a tomato and they cut it and they just put it in the dirt and then it sprouts. Well, that's what I did. I took a couple tomatoes and kind of put them in the pot and covered them up a little bit, and you can see they sprouted. So I got like, I don't know, 50 little tomato plants in there. I think it's Romano and something else. Anyway, as you can see, we've got tomato plants coming in here. Some of them sprouting up faster than others. Cucumbers are getting ready to go on the ground pretty soon. I'm telling you, it's going to be a cucumber heaven here pretty soon. Those are cucumbers too. The beans have to go into the ground today, some of them. They're not all popping up, I don't know. They want to, some of them. I don't know about these other ones. Doesn't look like they're going through. Maybe I put them in too late. Who knows? Old seeds. Here's our little basil. Hold on a minute. So this is what I'm going to be doing today under the hot sun. Digging this out for beans. My landlady asked me to plant a little extra kale. So I've done that. You can see they're coming up. Right. Now we're in the greenhouse. Cucumbers and squashes. Right. These are beans. Now these beans got wet. As you can see, only 2 came up so far. So what's going on with that? I don't know. Oh, here we go. We got beans sprouted all of a sudden within one day. I didn't come out here yesterday, people, because, I get tired and I'm worn out, right? This is not easy work for me. So anyway, we're going to plant some beans. More squashes and cucumbers. I think. And then, obviously, cucumbers. All right. These are beans, but only 1. Hold on. Oh my, look what happened in that corner. They really like that corner. I don't know why, but they're like ready for the ground, you can see. So I have to get up on that today. These ones not so much. They're coming along. There we are. Where's my fingers? There we are. Right. More coming in. Right. And again, these are squashes of some sort and cucumbers. So hold on. Okay, people. I can only assume that you're going to see me here in a minute. Okay? I'm putting in some beans. Now, when I was putting them in the planter pots, I don't always pay attention, right? Because there's so much to do. Here's a black walnut seed on the ground. Anyway, what do you call it? I just had the pitchfork, now I lost it. I don't always put down what it is, what type of plant seed it is in terms of a bean. If it's a pole bean or, the one that climbs up a pole or just a bush bean. So anyway, I think these ones are the ones that I normally have out here, which are, they produce these really pretty red flowers and they climb up and they obviously produce beans, right? So anyway, it's 1:45 now. I just pretty much got out here. Chances are, now that I'm out here, people, I'll be out here until about 10 o'clock tonight. Up until 10:30. Last time I was outside was, I think, I don't know, a day ago. I know I rested yesterday. I don't remember if I was out the day before. For sure the day after that, well, before that. I was out here 2 days ago. I had 1 or 2 days rest. I had 1 day of rest. I don't know about the second day, but anyway, you get the point. When you're out here for that many hours, and you're working like a mule, right? Basically, that's what happens. You forget a little bit of sense. You lose a little sense of time, right? And I've got my glaucoma and pressure in my head, so that doesn't help either, right? So, as I'm doing this, obviously I'm trying not to feel guilty about Uncle John. I should be working on that lawsuit, right? This is where, I have to think about where I'm going to be in 4 or 5 months from now, right? Working on that lawsuit, right? So, getting the food into the ground is the priority right now. That's what Uncle John would want. He'd want to make sure that we were okay, right? But, like I said, don't think that I don't feel guilty for following up on this stuff. Now, tomorrow's Monday, today's Sunday, so I am going to, I guess, go online and see what's been filed by the corporations. We know it's dismissal, but I don't know, honest to God, people, I don't know if they get to go in front of a judge by themselves without me being there, because I'm not going to get informed correctly, because I was told, this is what I was told. I was told that because it got shifted over to email, because it was pro bono who told me to email them and let them know that I had duty counsel or whatever, not duty counsel, but I had pro bono looking at it, some legal represented body was viewing it, and that I was to send an email, right, to let them know. And that's what I did. Only that email that I sent for that, they gave an answer saying, fine, okay, we'll wait and see, what counsel says. And then, it turned out counsel didn't say anything. Just kind of, I don't know, I really felt misled, people. Right? I think if I would have just been doing it the way I would have been doing it, going to the Access Justice Center there for the forms and that type of thing, and just dealing with that staff versus having to wait for some pro bono guy to basically insult me and my family. Right? Because that sure in the hell didn't help my manners. Right? It's easy to insult people, but hard to help them, right? Anyway, and it still boils down to I don't know how to write a notice of claim, which I don't. Never mind amend it correctly. Alright. So anyway, I will be looking online to see if they responded and how they responded, and if anything's happened since they responded, to find out what I should do in terms of my response. And as far as I know, all I do is get to show up in front of the judge, and these lawyers will tell their side of the reason why they want it thrown out of court, and the judge will look at it, and because it's not done correctly, there's a high probability that it will get thrown out of court. So even though if I would have spent, for the amount of time that I've spent planting food and getting the ground ready in terms of the yard for the last couple of months, right, I'd still be no better off with the court if I took all that time and didn't plant any food or anything, didn't do anything out here, and spent all my time on trying to amend the notices of claim. Alright. I was set up to fail, basically, and expected to work twice as hard to still fail. So I chose the route of making sure that there's food come fall. And chances are, it's not over yet, people. I'll have a little more time then to concentrate on Uncle John's stuff. Alright? Because if they throw it out of court, and that's what they're asking, and even if the judge says yes, I'm pretty sure I can appeal that. Right? I don't think that they can just simply tell me to go away, although they've been trying to do that. Right? This is going to be one bushy plant. I might be putting them too close together here, but this year I'm doing high density planting, I guess you could say. Right? I'm putting more plants together to get a larger crop with less space. Right? I'm hoping my kids will eat more this year. My younger son's turning out to be a really good cook. Every now and then he cooks for me, right? Boy, it's getting tasty, people. Right? And he likes his vegetables. He likes his beans and stuff like that. So hopefully my reward will be, he'll be like coming to me and, gee, Mom, thanks for all those beans you planted. As he's munching away. Right? Because I still have canned beans from last year, so I'm not really up to canning too much this year. Right? I'm still going to do black walnuts, but I'm going to do them out on the porch this year. I'm not doing them on the inside. They need their own environment to process, right? Preferably a nice little warehouse. That would be great, right? But I don't have a warehouse. I just have a X-Club that can suit that purpose in terms of dehydrating them and that type of thing. Right, / greenhouse / painting room, right? And I think I can put maybe 2 more. And how many we got here? Quite a few. It might be too many. Maybe I'll run the arch or something. Give them. I'll put these ones. I'll put this one more over here, and I'll make a little arch for it. We've got little hot peppers in here. I bought them from Home Depot. I didn't start those ones. Alright. So, just so that some things had a head start in the yard, because I didn't start my seeds till late, right? Okay, there's that one. And then we can put one here. So Uncle John would say, keep doing what you're doing. You're doing good. Don't worry. That's a big one. Stick together. That was his motto. Stick together as a family. We'll get through it. Right? And then his last words would be, I love you. That's what he would say. I love you. So we're planting a bean for Uncle John. Here's an I love you bean. Last one into the batch here, and we'll count how many we put in. Here we go. This is the first bean patch. I have about 4 more to go. So, in our first batch, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 in our first batch. Okay. Okay. Okay, there we go. There's actually 12. I added 2 more. As twice as many as I normally put. Okay, so now I'm going into patch number 2. There's those potatoes Andre and I found up in the back where we planted the carrots, the beets, and the parsnips. So I'm going to put them in here somewhere, probably in this corner so they can get a bit more light. But if you notice here, people, do you see this plant? It's starting to grow. If I chop that, I'll take care of that problem. Serious. Do you see that? Because I'm completely annoyed with these people. I'm serious. This plant is sucking out all the water in the ground. You can see what it's doing. It's wilting, right? And because it's so large and it requires a lot of water to thrive and it goes deep, yeah, just taking over their yard, people, and they don't seem to care. Alright? It makes it hard to grow other plants. It really does. So anyway, just clean it up till here for now. I want to put some beans in here, but this is bothering me, and like these people are being rude with their freaking raspberry bush, so I just think I'm going to cut that little bitch off. Okay? Because all it's going to do is come in here with those freaking vines all over the place, crawl all over my shit. Morning Glory is going to crawl through it because they don't take out the Morning Glory from their side of the fence, right? And it's just going to get all weed infested in here again. That's the only thing that's going to happen. If it wants to spread out a little down here, okay, whatever. I had rhubarb in there, but obviously it's getting smothered out, right? So, you know, I'll have to get in there and pull out a little bit so I can get to my rhubarb. But you can see this is pathetic, right? Why do I need to get in here and dig 2 to 3 feet deep down just to get these fucking roots out of my yard for them to come right back next year? And we're going to put some beans in here. That's another thing my little landlady likes. She likes the bean patch too. Okay, people. So we're at a different angle now. Right? I took my clippers and I chopped off that branch. It's on my side of the fence. I don't want it. Right? Just like I don't want this shit, just like I don't want that shit. And since they don't want to do nothing about this shit, or nothing about that shit, I'm getting rid of that shit because it was just one clip. So, if they're shooting golf balls at my kids and their little friends' heads as we're running around out in the front yard doing our work because I asked them to simply remove a raspberry bush, I can only imagine, people, what they're going to do when they find out that their vine has been cut. Right? I had my pitchfork and then I lost my pitchfork. Like I said, they come into my yard anytime they want. I never go in their yard. But they come in here at 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock, or whatever time, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the morning. And they come trampling over stuff. And they lay out their leaves nice so they grow grapes, right? Because the grapes are growing on my side. So this time this plant can learn to grow grapes on that side. Because I don't touch their grapes. And I tried to look on the bright side in terms of trying to eat grape leaf, but for what it's worth, I don't like it. Right? Maybe a few cans of pickles or something at the bottom of the jar, but to be making rolled up grape, you know, with rice and stuff, I prefer cabbage. So anyway, what I'm doing here is I'm going to get this dirt ready. Double check for roots, and get the potatoes in probably in this corner, and get this one little batch of beans. We'll start with these ones. Start with these ones first. Right into the ground. So we'll be back. Hold on. Okay, people, I'm going to show you why this is bullshit. Because I had already dug this out. But it was overtaken by this plant in less than a year. I'm digging them out, some of them right now. Like I said, I'm cutting it off. I don't have to sift through rocks because I've already done that. This plant is just sucking up the nutrients from the ground. And the leaf itself doesn't even taste that good. I'm just going to work for a few minutes so you can see why I'm trying not to get mad. Right? This is just the surface stuff. This isn't 2 feet down yet. And all the little roots. This stuff webs out like a spider web. It has its main branches and then everything branches off from there. If I had more time, I'd take off the surface layers to expose it to show you how it... And then I gotta deal with their fucking poles. Right? Every year I hit my head on that fucking pole. You see me? Huh. I got dirt in my boot. I gotta take it out here. But before we do that, oh. Ugh. See that? And they want their raspberry bushes fucking spreading in my yard, man? Gotta watch. You kill yourself. I take a saw and it would saw that off. Do you think they were the landlord? I gotta watch. Hit my head on this. I still got another 8 feet to go. Oh. For a smoker, I don't do too bad. Probably the only thing that keeps me going in terms of lung capacity. And I've been doing this for like going into the 7th year straight now. But this is ridiculous. This is unnecessary. They can take a day or two, go along their fence line, take it away by 2 feet, and have their little patch of whatever the hell this shit is. I'm telling you, if this gets around a house structure, like morning glory, can travel around and around and around, and morning glory can actually destroy the foundation of a house if it wraps around itself too tight. This is the same kind of plant. And do you honestly think you're going to take responsibility when this house starts to fall apart at the foundation? Because this thing is smothering everything? And this is what I'm doing. I'm digging it out, bailing it up, and I'm throwing it over the fence. Then they can do what they want. If they want to salvage that leaf and those stems and eat them, that's their business. Otherwise, that's their plant, and it's invading my life and making it extremely hard, and so they can compost it in any which way they want. See that crow? He's been like visiting me for the last couple of days out here. I don't know why it's showing such an interest. What you got to say there, crow? Huh? Anyway, as you can see what I've done, this from this bucket straight ahead all the way down has to be dug out really well. I managed to unearth my 2 little rhubarb plants that are in the corner over there. I may move them. As you can see, it's a nightmare on that side. Right in here, I'm going to go into the greenhouse now, both of them, and get myself some squashes and some cucumbers and put them in there. And then over here, over the next couple of days, I'm going to clear this out. And we're going to put some kale in because my landlady would like some extra kale. Because like I said, she's got some yard work being done in her yard, so she couldn't really plant anything. Alright, because they're doing landscaping. So this here will make for good kale, providing it doesn't get drowned out with this plant. So I'm starting to think I should run a screen right across. Keep them on that side. And then I planted the potatoes in there. Hopefully I won't get robbed by the potato thief this year. Just stealing food from Andre. That's the only thing that's happening there. Got a little bean patch coming. I'm going to add some more beans in there. And there's potatoes. I don't know what that is. Some kind of cucumber or squash. Oh, there goes the screen, people. Wasting time with the screen. You can see. Anyway, I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do about these. Serious. And there's all their crap. Right there. It's all on the ground. In their little path. Some of it caught their fence. Easy enough for them to clean it up and do what they want with it. Okay, people. So now it's starting to get dark. So as you can see, I still have to dig up. Andre, can you please stop that? And get all the little roots. Andre, please. I don't want to waste the film, okay? It's just wasting time. Stop it. Andre, stop it.
Over here.
Anyway, we got some, I think those are squash.
Yeah. I don't know what they are.
And then we got potatoes. There's all their stuff over there on that side. They'll be choked when they see it in the morning if they haven't seen it already. Andre, I told you not to lean on those. They're not sturdy. They're just for the beans. So add some more beans in there after. Can you please just lovely. Anyway, that's celery. That's a bean patch. Some kind of flour. A little bit of garlic with some leeks. And getting that ready for tomatoes. Okay, do it again. All right.
And the next one is this.
All right.